Alright, Unit 4, test review. This one's going to cover all of the numbers except for 9, 10, 11, and 13, and those are on the other video. Alright, so it says number 1. It says solve by graphing. So we have here y equals 3/4 x minus 1. So that's my y-intercept. So I'm going to go to -1. And remember, it's always rise over run. So I'm going to rise 3, 1, 2, 3, and run 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Rise 3, 1, 2, 3, run 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'm going to connect those. Then we have x equals -4. When it's x equals, that means it's going through the x-axis at -4. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's going through the x-axis. So that's my point. So it's approximately 1, 2, 3, 4. So -4, and my y's is 1, 2, 3, 4, -4. And because solving means to find out where they intersect. This whole test is we're finding out where that point is. Even when we don't graph it, we're finding out where they intersect. Alright. So now we have still solving by graphing. We have y equals 4x minus 1. So we have here -1. Rise over run. See how it says 4, but it could be 4 over 1. So our rise over run. So our rise is 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Run of 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. Run of 1. Also, you can go down 1, 2, 3, 4, and this way 1. So, because this would be negative and a negative make a positive. So we have those points. Should get a ruler, but paper will work just fine. I'll fold it to make it a little thicker. Alright, so now we have 4. So I go to 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I put a spot. I put a dot. Then I have a -x. So that means I have a -1. So I'm going to go -1, and it's over 1. So we have rise still over run. So from that spot, I'm going to go down negative. So this is negative, and I want a positive. And right there is where they connect. So we already know. So we're just going to connect the two lines. And my answer then is 1, 1, 2, 3. So we have 1, 3. Alright. Then number 3 says to solve by substitution. Like when you're doing a game and you do substitution, you're going to put something in for something else. So since this is y equals, we're going to put this in for y. So I'm going to go 2x minus 3 times, now instead of y, I'm going to go x minus 1 is equal to a -1. When I distribute, I have 2x minus -3 times x is -3x. Negative is a positive. 3 times 1 is 3 is equal to -1. Combine like terms. 2x minus 3x is -x. Plus 3 is equal to negative 1. Subtract my 3. Negative x is equal to a negative 4. Divide by negative 1. So x is 4. Once we have x, we can plug it back in that equation. We're going to plug it back into y equals x minus 1. So y equals 4 minus 1. Y is 3. My point that these two lines intersect is at 4, 3. Now, at any time, once you understand what we're doing, you can pause it and then restart it so that you can try it, or I know today is going to be a little bit faster because I want to get up to the hospital. So, but if you know what I'm doing, like right now, pause it and try 4, and then start it again to see if you did it correctly. All right. So, what are we going to do? We're going to plug in negative 2 for y. So I have 4x minus 3 times y, which is our negative 2, is equal to 18. I have 4x, negative is positive, 3 times 2 is 6, is equal to 18. 4x, subtract my 6, is equal to 12. Divide by 4, x is 3. And we know that y is negative 2. So my point is 3, negative 2. Right. Number 5. Well, since none of these are solved for anything, we have to solve one of these equations for one of them. Well, if you look at 2x plus y is equal to 20, what can we solve it for? Y. So I'm going to go y is equal to, I'm going to subtract my 2x, negative 2x plus 20. Then I'm going to substitute this in for my y of my other equation. So I have 6x minus 5, but now instead of y I'm going to put this. Negative 2x plus 20 is equal to 12. Distribute, I have 6x, negative is a positive 10x, negative 5, and 20 is negative 100, is equal to 12. Combine like terms, 16x minus 100 is equal to my 12. Add 12, or add 100, 16x is equal to 112, I knew that, divided by 16 is 7. Alright. So then we have to put this in for that. So we have y is equal to negative 2 times 7 plus 20. So y equals negative 14 plus 20. So y is a positive 6. So my point that these two lines intersect is at 7, 6. Alright, number 6. Number 6 says to solve by elimination. Elimination is linear combination. They're the same thing as where you're going to add down and get rid of something. Sometimes you have to multiply. Alright, so when I look at this, I can tell that my x's are going to drop right out. So if I drop my x's out, that means that I have 5 and 4 is 9y is equal to negative 9. Divide by my 9, I get y is negative 1. Then I have to put it into one of these, so I'm just going to do, I'll do the top. Negative 6x plus 5y is equal to 1. Negative 6x plus 5 times negative 1 is equal to 1. Negative 6x, this is 5 times negative 1 is negative 5 is equal to 1. Add 5, negative 6x is equal to 6. Divide by my 6, x is equal to a negative 1. So my point is negative 1, negative 1. Alright, number 7. Looking at 7, there's nothing that's going to drop out right away. So that means I have to multiply one of these by something so that they drop something out. So what can I multiply it by? If you said 4, you are right. If you said 3, you are right. It depends on what you're getting rid of. I'm going to get rid of, I don't know, I'll just get rid of my x's. So I have negative 4x plus 9y is equal to 9. So what do I have to multiply the bottom by to get rid of my x's? Yeah, 4. So I have 4 times that gives me 4x minus 4 times that is negative 12y is equal to 6 times 4 is 24. So I have a negative 24. Now linear combination, you add down. So that's gone. 9 and negative 12 is negative 3, y, and then 24, 9 minus 24 is a negative 15. Divide by negative 3, y is 5. Then I have to figure out what my x is. So I'm going to put in, I'm going to do this one. So I have x minus 3 times 5 is equal to negative 6. Just putting this in for that right there. So I have x minus 15 is equal to a negative 6. Add 15. X is 9. So my point is 9, 5. Alright, so we're looking at what can I multiply these by to get rid of it. And if you look at it, there's nothing you can multiply the top by or the bottom by to get rid of both, or to get rid of a number, because there's nothing I can multiply 4 by to get 10 or 2 to get 7. So I'm going to have to multiply the top and bottom by something. So I'm just going to do 4 and 10 because I think that's going to be the easiest. So I have negative 4x minus 2y is equal to 14, and I'm going to multiply this by 10, and then I'm going to take the bottom, negative 10x plus 7y is equal to negative 25, and I'm going to multiply this by 4. But you see how this and this are both, they both are negative? We need one negative and one positive, so I'm going to multiply this by actually a negative 4. Alright, so what does that give me? That gives me 10 times negative 4 is negative 40x minus 20y is equal to 140. Now my 4's, I have negative is a positive 40. 7 times 4 is 28. So I have a negative 28, and is equal to a negative. Negative is positive. 4 times 20 is 100. That's gone. And now I have negative 20 and a negative 28 is a negative 48. Y is equal to 240. So 240 divided by 48, negative, is negative 5. Then I just have to put this in for one of these. So I'm going to put it into the top. So I have negative 4x minus 2y is equal to 14. Negative 4x minus 2. Instead of y, I'm going to put negative 5 equal to 14. Negative 4x, negative and negative is a positive 10, is equal to 14. Subtract 10. 4x negative is equal to 4. Divide by my negative 4, x is negative 1. So my point is negative 1, negative 5. Alright, now remember always that even if you are doing these problems with me, until you do them by yourself and see if you can do them, you won't know how to do them. It won't register in your long-term memory. So I want you to make sure that you download this or write this on another piece of paper. I don't know what you're doing, but and then try these problems again without looking at my work, and then come back to the video or your paper to see how you're doing. 9, 10, 11, and 13, remember, are on the other video. And now I'm going to jump to number 12. Number 12. Number 12 is getting rid of, we have to get rid of the one variable just like we did before. So, and you have to use, if you call this 1, this 2, and this 3, we have to use 2 of them to get rid of one variable. So I just look real quickly and see if there's anything that would drop out. If I use my 1 and 3, see how my y's would drop out? So I'm going to use 1 and 3. 1 and 3. So I have negative 6x plus 5y plus 2z is equal to a negative 11. Now, if I were you, I'd pause it and try to see what you would get and then start it up again. 4x minus 5y plus 5z is equal to a negative 4. These drop out. I get negative 6 and 4 is negative 2x plus my 2 and 5 is 7z is equal to a negative 15. Alright. Then, since I used 1 and 3, I have to use 2. There's no question about it. I will have to use 2 in some capacity. And I have to use something, and since I got rid of y here, I have to get rid of y here. So, if I'm going to have to multiply 2 by something to get rid of a y. So, since it's positive, I'm gonna multiply it by 5, and I am also going to use 3. So I'm going to use 2 and 3, and I'm going to multiply those 2 by 5. So I got 5 times, and see how, because what would I have to multiply? I want a positive 5y, see? So I have to multiply it by 5. So I'm going to go 5 times negative 2 is negative 10x plus 5y plus 20z is equal to 5 times 9, which gives me a negative 45. Then bring down 3. 4x minus 5y plus 5z is equal to a negative 4. add down, that's gone. We have negative 6x plus 25z is equal to a negative 49. Now, what you have to do is you have to look at these two to see how you can get rid of your x or z's. So what can you multiply this one by to get rid of my x? I have negative 6, so I want positive 6, so I have to multiply this by a negative 3. So that means I'm going to bring this one down. I have negative 6x plus 25z is equal to a negative 49. All I did is rewrite that there. Multiply this one by negative 3 and put it underneath. So negative negative is positive. 6x should have been plus or minus. Negative 3 times 7 is a negative 21. Z is equal to a negative negative positive. 15 times 3 is 45. So I have 4z is equal to a negative 4. Divide by 4, z is 1, negative. Once we have z is negative 1, I'm going to put this in for one of these two to get x. And I think I'm just going to put it into this one. So I have negative 2x plus 7z is equal to negative 15. Negative 2x plus 7, that's a 7. Z is negative 1 equals negative 15. Negative 2x minus 7 is equal to a negative 15. Add 7, negative 2x is equal to a negative 8. Divide by negative 2, x is 4. So I have x is 4, and I know z is negative 1, so now I just need y. So you always have to go back to the originals to get y. So I'm going to use actually the middle number, or the middle equation. Down here I'll go negative 2x plus y plus 4z is equal to a negative 9. I need to plug this in for z and this in for x. So negative 2 times 4 plus y plus 4 times z, which is negative 1, is equal to negative 9. And remember, if this goes too fast, every lesson so you could find three variable things and go with the lesson, because the lesson goes slower. So negative, that's negative 8 plus y minus 4 is equal to a negative 9. Y negative 8 and negative 4 is negative 12 is equal to negative 9. Y then add 12 to both sides. We have 12 minus 9 is 3. So my point is x, which is 4, y, which is 3, and z, which is negative 1. Alright, 13 is on the other video, so that brings us to 14. Says to graph the inequality. So the first thing we can see is that there's no equal, so that means the line's going to be dotted. So we just want to make our line and then make it dotted. So we have negative 3 negative 3, 1, 2, 3. Slope is negative 2, so rise of negative 2, so down 1, 2, run 1. You could also go, because that's negative and a positive, that's a negative, or you could go up 1, 2, and over this way. Right? So we want to just make sure it's dotted line. And now it says that if you place your thing there, just think about it, that's extended so that we can see it really. It says that y's are less than the line. So pick a line, this is like, so y's are less than the line. So if this is 6 and this is -6, right, this one is less than. So it's shaded down here. Alright, let's do 15. So we have, let's do one at a time. Let's do 3x plus 2y is greater than or equal to -2. So we know it's going to be a solid line. And let's solve for y though. So I'm going to subtract the 3x to the other side. So I get 2y is greater than or equal to -3x minus 2. I'm going to divide by 2. So y is greater than or equal to a -3 over 2x minus, what am I dividing by? Divided by 2. 1. So I'm going to go down to -1, put a dot, down 3, because rise, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, to the right. Same thing, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. And it's a solid because there's that line's there, so it's a solid line. Alright, I'm going to grab a pencil for a second, because remember we're only shading what they have in common. So I gotta grab a pencil so I can erase. Alright, so this one is this line. You always want to make sure you know what line you're talking about. So it says that y's are greater than the line, right? So y's are greater than the line. So that means that if this is 6 and that's -6, that means that we're shading on this side of the line, right? Can you see that a little bit? Okay. Then we have to graph the other one, and then we have to see where they overlap. So now I'm going to graph x plus 2y is less than 2. Remember, if at any time you divide by a negative, we have to flip that sign. So if we ever have to do that, make sure. Alright, so we are going to go and move that x to the other side. So we have 2y is less than -x plus 2. I'm going to divide by 2. Y is less than negative, remember there's a 1 there, so that means 1/2 x. 2 divided by 2 is 1 plus 1. So I'm going to go to 1, go to up to my 1. I'm going to rise over run, so I go -1, down 1, and then over 2. Yeah, down 1 over 2. And that means also I can go up 1 over 2. Right? So now it gives me my next line. Well, here's my line that we're going to talk about. So it says that y is less than the line. So here's 6 and there's -6. Which ones are less than the line? So that means it's under this, right? So it would be all over here, but see how there's nothing here? So that's not what they have in common. What they have in common is this right here, right? Because that's what's already shaded. So this is going to be your answer, right? So one thing we have to do is we have to make sure we have to erase this part, because they don't have that in common. Only one of them had it in common. And then my answer is this right here. And I goofed, it was supposed to be dotted, so luckily I should have a thing, so this one's supposed to be dotted, so I have to make it dotted. And if on the test you realize it after you've made it solid, you know, just make sure you go and say dotted. Alright, let's go on to the next. $16 is y is greater than negative x minus 2 is my first line. So we have here negative 2, 1, 2. So I have negative 1, so I'm going to go down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1, because it's negative 1 over 1. And it's dotted, so this time I'm going to remember, and it's dotted. Right? And it says that y's are greater than the line. So that means this is a greater y. So that's up there. Then my other line was y is, so this is this line. And then this one says y is less than negative 5x plus 2. So when I go to 2, then I'm going to go down 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then over 1. Down 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, over 1. And this is also dotted, because there's no line. Alright, so this says that y's are less than the line. So this is a lower number. So it's 6 or negative 6 less. Negative 6 is less. So it's on this side of the line. So do you see what's already shaded? This up here is already shaded, right? So, yeah, this is already shaded here. So we're gonna, this will be the answer.